Hey everybody, welcome back to Michael Clarda Arts. This morning we're going to be doing a warm-up, drawing some bears. Let's get started. And here we are at my standing drawing desk once again. Super excited for you guys to be along for the ride this morning. So this was yesterday's offering. I was drawing some hippos, and previous to that, if you've been with me, you know, three-toed sloths. We drew some gorillas, some elephants, otters. Before that we drew some dogs. We did some apes, some orangutans. But this morning, we're going to be drawing one of my favorite creatures in the entire animal kingdom. That, of course, is the bear. We're going to be drawing probably 3 drawings today. Bear's a little bit harder for me. I don't know why, but they are. And I'm going to attempt to be doing 3 drawings today. Who knows? I might fail miserable and you get to watch. I hope not. Please. So, I've been doing this whole drawing thing for a while, and I get a lot of questions. A lot of questions. How long did it take you to learn how to draw? I'm still learning. How much time do you spend drawing every week? More than I care to admit. How much practice do you need to be a professional? As much as you can spare. Do you still do things for yourself? Yes, this is actually one of them. I lay foundation every single day. That actually sounds kind of dumb. I lay foundation every day. No. I basically try and reaffirm and keep building those foundational principles that I learned when I was first drawing. We're talking composition, line, form, shading, all the elements and principles of design. I still am learning because this drawing thing is kind of organic. And I say that because it is. It is a constant learning process, especially when drawing animals. Animals to me are kind of the pinnacle of the whole drawing process. Now, I started out drawing humans, and I still draw a lot of humans, but to me, I just like the complexities of animals, from the fur to the unfamiliar anatomy. All of it. I just love drawing animals. And animal drawing, if you are looking to be a character designer, will really help you be kind of inventive on the fly while also keeping roots in reality. What does that mean? That's so cryptic. What is that? Cryptic. Well, if you draw human beings, people have a knowledge about humans, and they will continually be judging and referencing themselves as well as other humans they've seen in the world. And animals, you can kind of draw upon some of the complexities, like jellyfish, alligators, mammals, mammalia, then you have birds, and you have this huge swath of incredible creatures that you can draw from. If you're interested in kind of learning from the best, because I am not the best, definitely look up an individual by the name of Taylor Whitlatch. She is a master, in my opinion, with regards to manipulation of forms and using existing animals to really create new creatures. And she is, I believe she used to work for ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, and then she probably still does in some capacity. She did a lot of stuff for Star Wars and whatnot. But she is a wonderful creature designer. She's just really good at what she does, and I'm over the moon. You can buy her books. Just check her out on Amazon and give her some love. She's a wonderful individual and person overall. So yeah, Taylor Whitlatch. What I'm doing right now is something I've talked about before. Mapping out composition with a simple sketch. Trying to adhere to those principles in my brain that keep screaming out every single time I draw, which are form, weight, balance, anatomy, accuracy. But the number one for me is fun. If I'm not having fun, something's going awry. Something is not gelling. I do this drawing thing because I've been on the other side of the equation. I have worked jobs that I did not like. And ultimately were really detrimental to my sanity, because every part of my being wanted to do this. However, to pay bills, and amongst other things, I had to do the other. I was worked in a grocery store for a while. I stocked milk. I went around to different stores. I would rotate milk. I worked at a movie theater for a long time. Didn't make any money doing that. That was pretty much the best college job I could have ever had, because I was a projectionist, and I would basically start the movies. You had cycles, you had downtime, and then you had uptime. And during the downtime, what do you think I did? I did schoolwork, I drew pictures, and really honed my craft. And I was allowed to do that. Don't think that I was shirking my responsibilities in the midst of working what they were paying me for. You can only do so much cleaning on a machine. Projector. Nowadays the projectors are mostly digital. But back in the day, we're talking 90s, early mid-90s, you had to put the movie together. And it took skill. You had 2,000-foot reels, probably about 6 of them, of actual film. And you had to put those together accurately, efficiently, without damaging the film. And yeah, there's a lot of movies that I put together that were popular. A lot of the animated features, Lion King, I put that together. Pocahontas, I put that together. Jurassic Park, put that together. Did a lot of those movies. And got a real knowledge of the film presentation side of the equation, but I didn't make any money. But, as with everything, you have to look at the bright side. I was able to work and hone my skills as an artist, and that was really beneficial, as well as meeting my wife. I met my wife at the movie theater, and that in and of itself, that's a bonus. She also is an artist. She would say she is not, but she is. She is an actress as well as an artist. And first and foremost, she is a teacher. An incredible individual. By the way, she does not watch my channel, so don't think I'm building her up. She doesn't do social media or anything like that. So, yeah. This whole drawing thing takes time that I don't think a lot of people quite can wrap their head around. But what's really cool about drawing in general, not only is it fun, but it gives you insight. I've talked about this before. Really kind of peeling back the understanding of the world we live in is something that I'm constantly trying to do, especially as I get a little bit older. I mean, back in the day, when I was younger, I took a lot of things for granted, and I didn't ask the more important question of how or why. And that is part of what we refer to as cognitive thought. Engaging your brain and not allowing something to just feed you is important. We sit down on the couch, we plop down, we can feel the tingle, we whip out that phone, and we allow it to feed us. So early on, I didn't ask the why, I just did it. Now I ask a lot of why. Why, how, what causes that, where's that coming from? And I do that a lot now. And it is that why. I had to sharpen my pencil because my cuckoo clock started going off. I have a cuckoo clock. But it's that why that really keeps me grounded in the world. Of art. Even though I do all these things professionally, make a living at them, it is the fact that I have not stopped learning or having that mind of wanting to learn, wanting to explore, wanting to get better. And that's kind of where I'm at in my life currently. So, if you watched, I initially started out with simple shapes, and that's important because you don't want to get mired down in too many details too quickly. And start messing things up as it pertains to either your reference or what you're trying to accomplish in the drawing. Don't get mired down in the details too quickly. It's important. And as I've said before, always refer back to that fun. You want to have fun. When I was first thinking about being an artist, I got that book. I got a book that showed how much you can make. And I thought, oh, this will give me insight. Of course, that was way back in the day. And I wanted to be an animator in the beginning of my artistic journey. And I did some animation in college and some after, and it was great. But I recognized times changed. But that book gave me insight into how much artists make based upon the jobs. And the one job that I really thought was really cool was freelancer. Because it didn't have... It was funny, it said $0 to unlimited dollars. And me being an idiot, I'm like, unlimited? I'm going to get paid unlimited? I didn't really understand the whole world of freelance and how everything is up to you, but I did like the freedom variable because it said lots of free time if you want, but then again, super high stress, lack of time depending on how much money you want to make. And I said, I'll jump right in, and I did some freelance work in the mid 90s, early 90s, and again in the 2000s. And I've always kind of fostered that ideology of being my own boss. And then I went to work for a company for about 10 years. And after I left them, I went full-time freelance for about 11. And in my infancy, and I call infancy earlier in my career, I basically watched as companies folded, fired their employees, and it really gave me some insight into who I was as a human being. I'm the type of person that likes to do a lot of things. And they call it I believe the M personality, character type, where you have a myriad of different things that you're able to do, and it really sets you up for success. So I've been working for a long time because I do a lot of things, and I have these little fires that are set up that I'm able to keep working. And that really helped whenever we had some downtime. I was able to do murals because I developed that skill set. I was able to do apparel, design hats and shoes. I was able to do illustration work. I was able to do medical illustration. I was able to do character design. I was able to do animation. I was able to do product design. And I was able to do all that because I fostered that in me and learned a lot about each particular discipline. And that really helped me through the years. So I encourage you, if you specialize, that's fine, but broaden your spectrum, because if AI or one other money variable comes in and suddenly your job is gone, you can pivot. No problem. I'm just going to pivot. I've been working on this for a while, programming, or I do car repair. I did car repair for a while because I have that skill set. So encouraged, be encouraged. This is number 1. C26. Drawing number 2. Drawing number 2. All right, here we go. Let's do this. Yeah. Pivot! Pivot! That's a Friends reference for those of you that are not in the know. Yeah, so in my normal, for those of you who don't know, in my normal day-to-day, I work for a company that services a lot of the theme parks around the world. Services meaning they create collectibles, products. I've designed stuff for zoos. You could basically say trinkets and trash. You're a trinkets and trash guy? Yep. Sure enough. Designing products for the entertainment market is not for the faint of heart, because you have to draw on the experiences and the past that they've had and really find those elements that they're willing to fork over their dollars for. Because let's be honest, the world doesn't need more trinkets and trash. But what the world does need is artists that understand why a person would fork out money for something that really the only value it has is what you place on it or what somebody's willing to pay for. Case in point, something like this. This is hideous looking. This is a blast-ended screw for sale. Yeah, he's got a blast end right there. That's basically his butt. This is part of the experience at Universal Studios in Orlando and possibly over in Hollywood as well. The Haggard ride, and you go through and you see the blast-ended screw. It's one of the beasts that he had. And this thing is hideous. It's almost like a scorpion turd. It looks like a turd. But this has some type of value to somebody, and it became a pullback toy, and some people purchased that. And that's my job to figure out what is the best way to design something that it's a very hard puzzle. I originally, like I said, got into this game for animation. I went to school for a long time. I acted, I did musicals, and it gave me a good perspective of entertainment and musicality. I had scholarship for music and voice. And basically, that was kind of my trek. Now, what I didn't realize is it gave me kind of a different insight with regards to humanity and people, and what makes sense for them. And drawing upon that experience, and basically creating products that speak to the individual. Being a product designer is hard because you're trying to figure out your user, and then you have to think in terms of averages, because not everybody is going to want something as a niche. So you have to think in terms of bigger picture, and what is the average Joe going to want. So I was an apparel designer for a long time, and I had to figure out what is the embellishment that is going to go on a garment to make them want to purchase it. Me, I'm not really a embellishment kind of guy. I like simplicity. And having this whole fashion thing, you think, oh, you were a fashion designer. Yeah, because I designed shoes, I designed apparel, pants, hats. I did that for quite a long time. And that afforded me to really start understanding humanity a little bit better. Like whenever I design stuff for NASA, people go to the Kennedy Space Center, because I did a lot of stuff for Kennedy Space Center. They go to the Space Center for an experience, so I have to kind of think, okay, how are they going to, what are the experiences at Kennedy Space Center? How can I draw upon that nostalgia and really kind of think in terms of what is going to be that one thing that they cannot do without, that they're going to spend their dollars on. And it's hard. It's hard to do that. And then do it effectively and efficiently, and do it at a price point that makes sense. Because, you can design anything, but are the buyers going to buy it? Is it going to make sense in terms of cost and longevity, and how long is it going to be there? Very similar to Disney, how they look at the overall picture and they think, okay, this is how much it costs, this is how much we're going to make. Is it going to be an item that we can repeat? Is it going to be an item that we can spread across a broad swath of products? And here, case in point, I'll give you an example. Here are two products that I did for Disney. So I designed the BB-8 die-cast metal car race car and the die-cast Kylo Ren. And this is back in the day whenever the Force Awakens. So 2014, well, not 2014, so 2016, 2017-ish, somewhere around there. That's where these kind of landed. And I had to come up with designs in a form factor that was not really related to Star Wars. So I had to interject and come up with items that made sense. And that's why these two came about. And they used these for years as this particular form factor. And then they created ornaments and some other collectibles that I think are still making money for them. And they still have these for sale in the park. See, that's staying power for sure. And what was really cool, I was very happy about that. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep anything. Disney was very vehement whenever I designed those. You're not allowed to do certain things, and you had to put all the art on a specific drive. They was very hush-hush because they didn't want any of the designs coming out. And I remember seeing stuff on the internet back whenever they said, this is the new villain for Force Awakens, and it was completely wrong. Because I had already seen the designs from Lucasfilm, and I was like, no, that doesn't look anything like, and I told my wife, yeah, that is completely false. But product design is hard. And then having a successful product on top of it. One that has staying power, one that has collectability, one that people like. That's really the thing, is as artists, there's so many ways we can go with our artwork, but I don't know why. We just want people to like our stuff. And then somebody's like, I could care less what people think. I'm going to do art regardless. And I think that's incredible. But since I'm here making a living at doing this, I have to bend many times to be able to get the artwork through all the filters of humanity that pay the bills. And that's the approval process, that's the legal process, that's the character designers that design possibly the original character. That's why it's important, and I encourage you as artists to come up with your own stuff. Come up with your own stuff constantly. Constantly explore what makes sense for you. And you, lo and behold, even if it never gets picked up and you're not a millionaire, you're still creating art. That's what I think is awesome. The one thing that you can do for you. Now I'm drawing in some of the shadows, again, keeping it simple. Leg that goes back here, goes down. Get some more grass. Yeah. So definitely keep going. And that's the thing too. I watched a video a while back about the whole artist thing. And it was very inspiring. I can't remember who made it. So. And basically, he went through the whole thing of encouraging those who had been discouraged. There will be people out there that'll poo-poo your stuff. And art is very subjective, and I always tell people that are getting into this, try not to allow those people that have negativity or failure in their lives to project upon you. Try. It's every day is going to be different. Some days it's good, some days it's bad. Some days you can do it, some days you can't. And the reality is this: art is personal. And you can always say, oh, just don't take it personally. That's impossible. I just spent time on this. Let's say I put time on this, which I did, effort, and it's not received well. Ever. And that's something that you're going to have to deal with. You have to develop a mechanism to thwart off negativity. So, yeah. This one turned out pretty good. I was a little worried in the beginning when I started doing all of the shapes, and then I realized that I could just go ahead and do it. Don't allow the world or somebody else's opinion to stay in your brain. Pick yourself up and go forward. That's what defines somebody who is a success. And I put that in quotes because success is relative. Just because you have a lot of money does not mean you're a success. Money is a very small part of the equation. Some could say your success is based on how you inspire and affect others in a positive way. Hopefully you're getting something from this video today. I hope. Be inspired. Let's move on to the third one. On to number 3. And because I am one for fun, I will draw a bear cub. What? How dare you? Chill out, bucko. I love bear cubs. They're so cute. You know why I love bear cubs? Because they're such just a fun, not only fun to draw, but also they're full of life. Oh, just like a baby cow. If you've never seen a baby cow, I recommend you check them out because they are wonderful. Baby cows are wonderful. Definitely, if you have not checked that out recently, and you need to pick me up, you've had a rough day, you've been yelled at, your boss has given you shame and grief, your other significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, who cares? Get yourself a little baby cow action, and you'll realize there's still love in the world. Yes, baby cows. I lived on a farm for about 4 years, and I was surrounded by cows, and it was a delight. They have attitudes, they have character. We got to see so many wonderful moments. And it was just great. Baby cows, get to it. It is rather cold here in the mountains of North Georgia. This morning it was 14. So I walked into my studio, and I don't even know how cold it was. It was crazy cold. And some of you are like, 14? Come on, that's like polar plunge. Give me a wetsuit. Give me a Speedo. And I say, get behind me with that trash. You may like cold, and that's fine. You do you, boo. What I'm doing now is trying to keep things simple, and it is not working out. Doing the best that I can, guys. Yeah. You'll see me sometimes. I'll go back and I'll find a reference point, and I'll try and reaffirm where stuff is. Okay. Because it helps me keep things correct as they pertain to a reference. And that is basically what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to Once I get the head at least shored up a little bit, then I can go back in and start making sure everything is where it's supposed to be. And it's hard. I'll tell you right now, this is the whole drawing thing, like I've said before, especially doing these warm-ups and talking, and some people are like, don't talk, shut your hole. Dude, I've had some people that are so bad. I'm like, wow, you're really passionate about me shutting my hole. Like using language that you wouldn't use in front of your mother. Kiss your mom with that mouth? And people are just, whew. And I accept it. It's not fine. I don't like it. But I understand people are coming from a different viewpoint. Blah, 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 blah. Who cares? And they just don't want to hear it. And I'm like, just mute me. Mute me, bro. First of all, this is what... Okay, so this is... I've made a mistake. I've made a mistake. And I don't have my plastic eraser. So we're just going to have to deal with it. We're actually going to shorten this slightly. The muzzle is too long. And what happens whenever you make the muzzle too long on a bear is it suddenly becomes a dog. And that is no bueno. So we're just going to leave it because I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time. So we're going to have this foot around. We're going to pull it in. Yeah. If I had my eraser, I would correct it. So my apologies for that. Taylor Whitlatch, check her out. Incredible artist. Don't know her personally. But she's got some skills to pay them bills. Okay. It's okay to mess up every once in a while. Yeah, that helps too. So even if I were to go ahead and thicken this neck up a little bit and go ahead and draw the shadow in, that helps. Yeah, that helps. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Let's go ahead and do some damage control. Yeah, that's better actually. Okay. Rub it in a little bit. A little bit of a cast shadow right here. Let's draw that shadow in. Yeah. Okay. Indication of fur. Remember, we don't draw all the fur. That would be folly. Just indications. And make sure you follow the lines of the fur, because the fur has a way about it, and it follows the form a lot of times. His foot's kind of in the way right there. Let's go ahead and draw that. So, yeah. Hopefully, you guys got something from the day of drawing. Yeah. drawing. That's all you're going to get. That's it. Not doing no more. That ship has sailed. No more singing for you. My son is a singer, and he's so much better than me, and I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him, and he writes music, and he's so incredibly talented, and he's working on the hard work side of it. He'll get there. Got to give them time to find themselves. It's okay if they fail here and there. It's okay. If they fail, help them get up. If they make a mistake, point it out, rub their nose in it. That is such a bad way to parent. They make a mistake, show them what they did, and encourage them to make the right choice. Every single time, because you're going to have to go through it over and over and over and over and over again. And you get frustrated, and then you realize, oh yeah, they're human. They're not perfection. I had so many mistakes in my life. And I was graced by my parents, and they helped me out. I had relatives. Oh my gosh. So definitely, if you are a parent or thinking about being one, just remember you were that age too. You made many mistakes, and encourage them and show them the right path. And believe me, consistency is key. And be ever present as a parent. It's important. Don't whip out your phone at the dinner table. That's what you get for that. Dinner table is a place for conversation of the day, listening to your children. And if you don't have dinner with your kids, please make it a point. I sang to my son every single night for 10 or 12 years. Sang to him. He'd want a song. Daddy, can you do a song? Yup. Daddy, can you read me a story? Yup. That's what I did. Every single night that I could, and I was able, for like 12 years. It's a small gesture that has a giant impact. Alright, you guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video today. I know it was a little bit longer, my apologies. I gotta think about what I'm drawing tomorrow. Daggum, this is outrageous. Just kidding. Enjoy the day. I want to draw that shadow right here. Hold on, you're gonna see me draw a shadow. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Right. Okay, good. Okay. Okay. Don't sign it until you're done. That's somebody saying me that. Tell me that. You can't sign your drawing until you are done. I'm like, fine. I'm done. So today we did uno. Dos, tres bars. Alright guys, have an awesome day. We'll see you next time.